into that.
But that should be fine though. Like,
It says it's live now.
wait, it's weird, but it says like taking. It still says taking the leap instead of
Oh yeah, I should
establishing.
probably change that. I just didn't change that. What a fucking hero, dude.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We're doing great. Fucking lovely.
Yeah, Contextless too.
Sorry, I fucking will figure out which version of your I should be fucking using here. Establishing you ourself.
You are still. The woke culture gonna be saying, "Oh, I get what you're saying."
yeah, seriously. Oh, you're trying to involve everyone. I see.
Right.
Way to be progressive. I'll be like, yeah, fucking making a cross-eyed face with thumbs up.
For real. The woke culture. The woke.
The fuck? I forgot how to fucking play this game. What the fuck am I doing? Oh, that's not it.
Let's see here. I was gonna say too. We could get started. We could get started.
I
We could
still
get
want to
started.
wait till 9, just because it's advertised till then.
Okay.
We can still do our, casual banter and stuff. We don't have to sit here and fucking, silence. Like, no, we're not allowed to fucking say a word until 9 o'clock.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Don't you dare do it.
Right. It's funny, like I swear, like even after like the last couple podcasts, like it was actually something I was actually gonna ask you to like. I was talking to a couple people, and and I'm not sure if they were serious or they were joking, but like let me ask you this: like when you were like relationships or whatnot, how was your girlfriend acting as far as you? Did she was like she don't want you looking at other girls or talking to other girls or?
My last relationship's kind of a really bad one to compare things to. I'll start by saying this, but she wasn't like super like controlling about it. Like she wouldn't tell me I couldn't outside of a few couple people that were like problematic people, and I could see why she would say that, but at the same time it wasn't cool because they were some of my like good friends, But she definitely got really jealous about a lot of girls. Like, a lot. Actually, just recently was talking to... dude, fuck, hold up. But, I was recently talking to a friend of mine that she had kind of went a little crazy on the first time she met, like, and just went insane. She literally told me, she's like, yeah, dude, I thought she was gonna try and beat my ass. I'm like, God, don't worry, I wouldn't have let that happen.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely. You're a real friend, man. Because I swear, like it's weird. Because whenever I hear certain women be saying stuff like that, it literally just turns me away. Because I'm saying people say, "Oh, you gonna cut off all your like female friends? Oh, you don't need these. I'm your own. I'm the only person you should be." Yada yada. I'm like, if you want to keep it like 100, that's just a sign of insecurity.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, like, I legit, like, it's a sign of insecurity. And something that like even I had to come to terms with, because I kind of got to be a bit of a jealous type. Granted, my ex did rather shady, questionable things, But something you got to come to terms with personally yourself is no matter how much you like, love, fucking are attracted to someone, if you think they're about to still be talking to all their hoes while you're with them and shit, that's something you need to bring up to yourself. Like, maybe this ain't the play. You know?
Right.
Like, maybe, just maybe, we should take a step back, maybe crack open a cold one, have a beer, and think about what we're doing. Like,
Exactly. And even in terms, because there's people who always try to say, "Oh, even if you're in a relationship, you're gonna find other people attractive or whatnot." I'm like, I said that's where people like getting misconstrued because, of course, like, because I don't necessarily disagree. However, that's why, in terms of relationships, it shouldn't necessarily be solely about looks. If you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying, like,
there's
yeah, this
there's
person may,
levels of attraction, you know.
yep,
And actually, you know, this topic in general, we should probably write down the docs because this wouldn't be a bad topic to bring up in a later podcast. But
oh yeah, matter of fact, let me write it down.
um, but there's levels of attraction, you know. Like my ex, she was a very pretty girl, you know. But I knew her for 8 years before I got with her. I honestly thought she was kind of, you know, bit of a piece of shit before I met her, or before like I officially got to know her, you know. But the thing that like actually attracted me and made me take the leap is that she had a bit more intelligence than most of the people in her demographic and stuff. Granted, you know, things came out and you know she kind of still proved to be a bit of a character, but it does go to show that different levels of attraction. You know, it's very, very, very easy, especially in a world where it's easier than ever to like doll yourself up. You know, very easy to have physical attraction. Stupid easy. Hell, if you're
Right.
fucking horny and drunk enough, you can have a physical attraction to fucking just about anything. I mean, we really got bitches out here fucking people in dog suits, like.
Bro, bro, that is so true. Like, and then not to mention the fact that people get all these like surgeries and all this other stuff. Like, it's this
Yeah.
girl who literally had plastic surgery to make it seem like she was a fitness coach, and she literally going around and she has a job as one of them. Say, oh, I got my body where you can get yours too. I'm like, how? By going under a knife? Like,
I mean, to an extent, you know, that's to each their own. Like, I, if it's not something I'd notice, I probably wouldn't care that much. Like I said, I'm more of a personality type, as cheesy as that fucking sounds. But like, if it makes you feel good, as long as you aren't fucking going like overboard, because there is a certain level where like it's unhealthy, and at this point you're just trying to mask your depression and insecurity. Once you get to that point, therapy is probably the way to go, not plastic surgery. But
like,
you know, if
right.
there's here and there, like you really just fucking say your fucking nose is like kind of diagonal, and you really fucking hate it, fuck it, go get it changed. It's your prerogative, you know.
Absolutely. And I laugh at people who actually just keep like who literally be like, oh, like who has the right to judge me and yada yada. I'm like, one thing people need to understand is, as much as people say that they hate quote unquote judgmental people, everyone's like, and they just want
Everyone's
to be happy.
innately judgmental. It is
Right, like
just
everyone's
that is
going.
the thing.
Right, like everybody's gonna assume something about you in a sense. Not saying that it's right, but however, it's up to you ultimately to stand on what you do. Because if something is you, like I've seen people make fun of people for being like comic book fans and anime. They say, "Oh, y'all too damn grown to be liking that kind of stuff." But people still say, "Screw you! I This is what I like, and I stand on it."
Yeah, yeah, and
I
to a
think a lot of
certain degree, that you know helps in what we were talking about, the establishing yourself. Like, there's plenty of people out there who are like, especially now that we're not like in high school and middle school. It's almost more attractive to be someone who's into shit that's quote unquote nerdy and stand on your shit. You know,
yep.
like how many people back in the day wouldn't be caught dead talking about playing D&D, but like now you hear about it a lot more than you used to, you know? Like a lot
Right.
more.
Right. It's funny because I had seen because back then people used to. I remember like in the early 2000s with stuff like World of Warcraft and whatnot, and people all used to make jokes about video games saying that this game is for people who still haven't lost their virginity yet.
Yeah,
Now
like the
people
South
making
Park
memes talking
fucking
about
thing.
something. Right, and now you got people making a meme saying World of Warcraft and chill. Like,
World of Warcraft and shit. Fuck it. Hey, I used to play World of Warcraft in the day. What the fuck was my World of Warcraft? Bro, let's go run a dungeon. Let's hit it up.
I was I swear, man. Like, and that's just the thing with people, bro.
You
Because
know, it's
also,
funny that actually you bring that specifically up, because back in the day when, like, we went to school and stuff, I actually did play a lot of World of Warcraft, and I didn't talk about it at all because of that exact stigma you just said.
bro, and it's crazy. It's crazy, man, because it literally took me a while just to be like, all right, I'm gonna watch whatever I want to watch. I'm gonna like whatever I want to like, because the stigmas shouldn't matter. But surprisingly, depending on what you like, that literally determined whether you were whether you were gonna it's like what time or how people were gonna treat you. And while it's messed up, like you just had to do what you had to do.
Wait, you said Wallace messed up? What'd he do? What?
I'm not saying while it's messed up
Oh,
that
Wallace
people
messed
were
up. All
treated.
right. No, I thought you said Wallace messed up. I was like, what the fuck did Wallace do? Wait, what? It's like, hold up, I don't
Man.
remember that. Did
That's
Wallace come out as a brony in high school? Did I miss something?
Hell no, man. That joke is crazy. Let me see. Let me share this link. Let me see here. But yeah, man, like I definitely understand. Like I definitely understand what's it called. And the funny thing is, like a lot of people picked at you, like, because you literally saw like the difference between how, like, back then it was, oh, you couldn't wear glass, like, oh, like they made fun of you for wearing glasses. Then if you have an expensive pair of glasses or a different kind of brand of glasses, then people like you.
Dude, because it's all about the money. They don't give a shit.
Yeah,
Dude,
like,
this is kind of trailing off a bit here, but I'm gonna be 100% honest here. Like, people used to get made fun of for having glasses, dude. A bitch with glasses is kind of one of my weak points. Like, I'm a pretty stalwart man, but something about a bitch with glasses.
I'll feel it.
Girl, you ain't got 20/20 vision? Come on over here. You can't see shit. Good.
Right. Like, you can't see through my bullshit. So you good.
Fucking seriously. Damn, this bitch ain't gonna be able to see my horse shit coming from a mile away.
Right. Like I can smash finesse. Like
Damn, I'm
joke is
back on my bullshit. She don't even know.
yes, sir. Oh my god, bro. This is insane. I swear, if more people would have thought like that back in the day, most of these people who actually had like quote unquote glow ups, they would have been able to go. They would have been able to actually like get into better positions in life. But tragically, they let their bias like get in the way.
Dude, I'm
Shame.
not gonna lie, think about that shit. Like, if I had the same level of, like, fucking charisma I do now back when we were going to school, dude, it would have been over.
Man, I feel the same way about myself.
Fuck, all those people that I realized were fucking hitting on me back then, I maybe could have actually did something. I maybe could have fucking sealed some deals.
Yes, sir. But hey, I guess everything happens for a reason, though.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in that. Hard believer.
Because I'd never be able to go on my journey if I did. And it's almost time to get started. Let's see here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is. I'm swapping everything over to, what it's actually supposed to look like and not have fucking weird fucking anime game playing.
And you said, what was that called again?
The game?
Yep.
It's called Maple Story.
Huh.
It's one I used to play as a kid growing up. Every once in a while, I go back. They actually have a phone app too, but the phone app might as well just fucking take your entire paychecks. It ain't worth a hell of a lot.
Oh yeah, I
Actually, a
feel
fun
that.
little gaming history. Maple Story. A lot of people don't know about it because it's a free Korean MMO, and not a lot of people like played that back in the day. But Maple Story is the game that first popularized the microtransaction business model,
Hmm.
and it's also the one that does it the most successfully. I've seen videos of people dropping upwards of $500 per day on this game.
Dang.
Yeah, no, it's fucking stupid. These bitches loaded.
Man.
I couldn't even, dude. I couldn't imagine spending 20 a day. Granted, I pull up like Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links or something and it's over. It's, you boy better
Rough.
not. Might as well not have a paycheck.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I understand. It happens sometimes. Also, like it is so much. It is so much we could actually get into that. Matter of fact, let me see here. Let me post this on my Snap.
Yeah, 'cause it's almost time. I'm actually
And
gonna
this
post
is
on my Snap because I realized the one that I did to advertise it on Snapchat, I didn't put the fucking time on it. I just put my buddy Matt doing like a fucking pimp walk at work.
a very good one too. I might add.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you.
That just is insane, yo. I'm gonna.
Put an exclamation point at the end to show that I have emotion and I'm not a robot. We'll probably do what we normally do, wait till like 5 after, give people time to like come in and shit. You know what I mean?
Let's see here. Let me see how many people are. See here, 9 o'clock. See here, 9 o'clock. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad we actually got so many. I'm glad we got so many topics. I'm glad we got so many topics too, actually, because it is literally. Wait, it is so much we can actually talk about
Seriously,
with
dude. And
this.
it feels like we pop up with a new topic like every time we start talking, dude.
Well, yeah, because that's why I'm actually glad I live. That's why I'm glad we both live the lives that we do. Because honestly, as much as people as much as people complain about how like stupid or how like idiotic people are, how common sense ain't common. If we didn't have those people, we wouldn't have this stuff to talk about.
Yeah, seriously. It's actually like that's why I like our little dynamic is because we're like so similar, but we like are in such different environments day to day that it gives us some good fucking banter, dude.
Oh
It's
yeah,
always fun hopping on here.
oh yeah, I enjoy it. That's why I'm glad I'm here, man.
Dude, I had a friend she watched the podcast um last week. She came up with me and she was like, "Yeah, it's nice hearing you talk like that." I'm like, "Talk like what? Like not like a fucking retard?" Like she's like,
Hell
"Yeah."
no.
She was like, "Yeah, it was nice to hear you not shit post out loud." I'm like, "Wow, that was a pretty good way of explaining myself." I'm not gonna lie. I don't think even I could have hit that nail on the head that hard.
I feel, I feel, yeah, she's hilarious. But it's good to definitely show people like different like the different sides and whatnot. That's why matter of fact, when we actually get started, I'm gonna actually bring that up. Like too, because I actually got another story I'm gonna tell.
Oh, yeah, this should be fun. This should be a fun one that we can draw on a lot of stories from. So
Oh yeah,
901. I say we can get it rolling. You want to take it
all right.
off today, or you want me to start it like usual?
I'll say you could kick it off. Keep
Alrighty.
routine. Let's do this.
All right, let's go. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the second episode of Contextless. Today we're talking about establishing yourself with my co-host Quan from True Side of Context. Say hello, Quan.
Hey, what's up, Tito? TOOC, you already know. It feels so good to be back, especially after our last topic, and I can't wait to get started on this. Let's rock.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a good one. So establishing yourself. So what we mean by establishing yourself, is basically just not being a pushover. There's so many people that like have people come up to them, will say something or something, and like it'll be something like you don't agree with or something you don't want to do, and you'll just let them roll over. You won't establish yourself at all. You'll basically be, I guess, a side character in your own life.
Yep. And I'm really glad you said that too, because a lot of people will take this approach because because they're afraid to quote unquote
Right.
leave a bad impression
Bad
with people,
impression,
but
and it's easier. It's just easier to sit back and let it happen.
yep, and that's the tragedy. Like, I'm not even sure because people might try to say that, oh, some people feel the need to respond to things because of pride or ego. But one thing people need to realize too is everybody has an amount of pride. Everyone has an ego. It's part of human nature. However, it's all about, do you let it control you or not?
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely you could definitely over establish yourself too. Like if you're going a little overboard, like absolutely close minded, like it's your way or the highway, that necessarily ain't the best way to go about it either, you know? You gotta
Right.
hit a nice balance there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like that 1970, like not 1970, like that 1930s, 40s mentality of going up to a girl like, hey, like, you know what it is. Get in the kitchen and fry me up some fish. Like,
I
that's
mean
probably
up
not the
some
best way to
fish.
go about it.
Why fish?
because
Why fish was that? So many people say sandwich. You're like, nah, we're doing fish tonight.
right, you could be on some catfish. Like, that's probably not the
Make
best
sure
way
you
to go about it.
make sure you bread it,
Because
bitch.
and that's the crazy thing about it. That's what definitely like over establishing yourself in this is, because one thing people need to realize, like, because I actually have a story. Because even with, like, some new people that I've met personally, what I tried to do is I tried to establish myself in like a more positive way to leave a good impression on people. But like the longer that I've known them, they start to become like confused in a sense, and they try to look at me almost like this as this like quote unquote naive and quote unquote like naive person or whatever. But so
Yeah.
when I had to come back, and I had to be like a little more bolder. Not saying I just had to cuss people out or anything like that, but I had to let them know, like, hey, like, this ain't that. And the funny thing about it is, one of the people actually noticed it, and it changed our whole relationship for the better. Cause they're literally like, "Oh, Quan came back with a whole new energy." I'm like, "You're damn right, I did."
Well, that's another thing that's gonna happen. Like if you establish yourself as like someone who's not gonna be pushed over and shit like that, someone who's gonna stand up, there are gonna be a lot of people who innately feel the need to try and knock you down. It's gonna happen. And it ain't even like a lot of them don't even do it in a means of disrespect. You can still be like friends with these people and smack them back down and shit. Like a lot of times it just happens subconsciously where they'll start pushing and stuff. Establishing yourself doesn't mean being a dick. It means standing true to yourself. You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah,
people are, as they get to know you, they're going to start trying to test your boundaries, see where they are, even if they don't realize they're doing it.
oh yeah, absolutely. Because even when people see like the different dynamics of people's personalities, like, you have people who will brag about how they're so like aggressive or they're hot headed or whatever, and they love to argue. And then you'll see people who are like super nonchalant, someone like myself. A lot of times, me, like, I don't want to argue. Like, I don't want to argue over a lot of stuff, because
I don't
not
want to
because I'm
argue. I
afraid,
want to
because
discuss. You know? Let's have fun with
yes,
this.
sir, true. And I'd rather use like my like charisma and quick wits to actually get at people more than my aggression. But there will be a couple, but there will be a couple times to people who have the brains of clamps who won't even get it, and sometimes you got to speak to them in a language you understand.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a very important thing to do, both with relationships with other people and in general yourself. A lot of people don't talk when like you're talking about establishing who you are as a people. A lot of people won't actually talk about what it does inwardly for you. Confidence, you know, you knew me back in high school, like early high
Yep.
school days. I wasn't a confident person. I think we can both agree on that one. I was kind of more of the kickback, relax. I wasn't the out there type. I didn't present myself in a way as someone who was very bold, like you were talking about earlier.
Yep.
But the best thing I ever heard was that confidence is like a muscle, and the more you stretch it, the more you flex it, the stronger it comes. So if you start establishing yourself, even to the friends like that you've known for a while, it gets easier to do it to people you don't know. You start doing it to people you don't know, it gets easier to start doing it to people in power. You never want to be a dick to like your bosses at work or something, or like someone who is technically above you in position, but people who are above you in position will respect you for establishing yourself. You know what I mean? It shows a level of confidence. It shows a level of belief in yourself that is absolutely 100% needed for one, yourself to have a good time, and two, for you to push further on in certain positions.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I love the fact that you said that too, because one thing that I actually like that you said when we talked before is some people may not like the fact that you like take up for yourself, but ultimately they'll go to respect it as you show that you're not gonna back away. Because even nowadays in quote unquote cancel culture, if you say something that someone doesn't like or disagree with, they will literally go in on you until they think you can fold. That's why ultimately, if I say something, I'll let people know. Like, I don't care if you agree with me or not, I stand on it. And if you got a problem with that, you can take your quote unquote wokeness and shove it.
Yeah. And another thing that definitely comes in with establishing yourself is don't mix it up for, as we've said multiple times throughout the podcast already, just in the first fucking 5 minutes of it. Don't be a dick. Understand the difference of establishing yourself and understand the difference between talking at someone and talking with them is two very, very different things. You can talk at someone, you can bark, mostly like the difference between a boss and a leader. This is a very big concept that you'll find like matters a lot once you break out of the school life, whether it be high school, college, or anything like that. Any sort of educational scene, you'll notice that once you get out there into the workforce, into the starting your own business, that sort of stuff, the difference between a boss and a leader will come up a lot, whether it's being looked at, whether you're the one being looked at or someone else in your life is the one being looked at. And what you'll find is someone who is a quote unquote boss is someone who will talk at you. He will tell you what to do. He will tell you that you have to do it. He won't talk with you. Someone who talks with you will be understanding. They'll be helpful. They'll be someone who's willing to stand the ground with you rather than just making you do their grunt work.
Oh
And
yeah.
establishing yourself as a leader is a very big part of making yourself someone who people respect, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of people get that stuff misconstrued. Like they literally think that somehow being like these people or being like one of those like crime like being like a crime boss is literally the way to give people respect through fear. Like telling like I try to tell people all the time, especially even with like children, like telling a person, hey, get your ass in there and go wash some dishes. Like that kind of stuff doesn't make people respect you. It makes them actually resent you ultimately because you can establish yourself in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? Because as much as people say, because I heard some people try to joke about, they like people who like to be like blunt or whatever instead of just coming in a calm way. I'm like, I told this girl, I'm like, you said that, but if my first words to you would have been like, "What's up, bitch?" You would have looked at me a whole lot differently than you do now. So you
Yeah.
can't pick and choose like when you think it's good and when it's not.
Well, another thing you also need to, especially when we're talking about the people who pride themselves on being blunt, understand what the difference between being blunt is, you know, being out there telling the truth, being very not sugarcoating it. And on the other end, you have to understand that there is a difference on just being a dick. You know, you can sit there and someone, as stupid as a fucking example as this is, it perfectly brings out. If someone comes up and shows you a fucking TikTok, right? And it's the
Right,
most fucking awful thing you ever seen. Like, you really don't ever want them to fucking show you this TikTok again, right?
right,
There's a difference between sitting there and being like, sitting there looking at him saying like, oh, that was fucking awful, you're stupid, you're never gonna make it as an entertainer, you should never try again, all that sort of shit, and just looking at him being like, yo, that was kind of fucking ass, don't do that again. You know? There's just two
right,
different things.
right. Absolutely. And hell, it's like because you know I gotta get this in because I'm glad you said that. Even if you want to like encourage someone to lose weight versus like you telling somebody,
Jesus
like
Christ.
I'm concerned about you. Let's get in, like let's go work out or whatnot. I'll do this with you versus you saying, hey, like you built like a roly poly. You can't even see your own feet. You can't even walk up a flight of steps without gasping for air. Like lose that damn weight. Like
Built like
that
a
would not
roly
work
poly.
on anybody. Like
Yeah, yeah, that's honestly another part of establishing yourself that I feel like you kind of trailed off without realizing it too. Is another part of establishing yourself is presenting yourself. I got a story here, right? There's
yep.
actually my roommate's little brother. He works with us at my store. I'm his boss, right? And
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, I went on for 30 minutes. Actually, I was borderline being the dick I was just talking about earlier. But you know, like I said, I've known this family for like 6 or 7 years at this point. It's been a while. But he comes in, you know, I kind of try to be like kind of like a big brother to this kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's wearing this shirt, right? God damn, did I hate this fucking shirt. It's this just graphic tee. It's like 2 sizes too big, and it says "How to Pick Up Chicks," and it's a picture of a dude picking up like a fucking chick, like the chicken. I went on for 30 minutes telling him how much I fucking hated this shirt and he needed to go home and burn it immediately and that he was never gonna fucking lose his virginity until he got rid of this shirt and that his dick doesn't work because this shirt exists in like 30 fucking minutes, dude. Like, I hated this fucking shirt so
Bro, damn, man.
much.
Doing that man bold.
So
That is
I'm like, dude, I'm about to go out there and buy you another shirt. Like, I don't ever want to. I'd rather see you wear the same shirt for a month straight than ever see you wear that fucking shirt again. So, like, presenting yourself. Now that I've got that out of the way, presenting yourself is a very, very important thing to do too. You know, actually, I think we recently talked about. No, actually, it was someone else I talked about. So, my roommate's best friend, apparently her ex got a fucking face tattoo of like his rapper name going around his eye, right?
hell nah.
Presenting yourself is important because if you get something stupid like that, goddamn, are you just fucking flashing right in front of the majority of people's faces like, I am retarded. Like, so
That,
keeping yourself like wearing things that you like is not bad, you know, but don't wear things that are one, not the right size, two, just unflattering, shit like that. Present yourself in a way that you can be proud of yourself, and that works to helping your confidence, which will work to helping you establish yourself as an actual
abs-
person and not just a fucking NPC in someone's life.
yeah, absolutely, because that is literally like some of the worst thing you could do is just to be another person in the background, just be another person in the background. Now, like my boy Rob said, don't make yourself look like a fool, because hell, even even back then, like speak personally, I shut a part of myself off and my interest because I literally thought like I would be labeled as something because of my interest or whatnot. Like of course, like I like anime, I like comic books, but of course, growing up, people say like that's lame. It's only for people who do X, Y, and Z, and whatever.
Yeah, dude, there's a
But as I
fucking
got
Oni-chan Baka fucking crowd, like,
right,
fucking, yeah, I feel
like,
that one.
and the funny thing is, bro, like so many people hop on the band, like even with like back then how people used to call comic books lame. Now you got everybody making memes of memes of Thanos and
Yeah,
saying things like, "Oh, I'm a Thanos," or "I'm a Thanos your girl." Like every people always literally try to adapt something new now, and I'm not even hating, but what I'm saying is, for people out there who maybe like this kind of stuff, stick to your guns, bro, because
yeah,
you gonna feel terrible if you don't.
yeah. Like I said, actually, I can't remember if we started the podcast, but not before I said it. But it was definitely earlier in the stream. But I definitely feel the same thing. You know, back when we hung out a lot, I played a lot of World of Warcraft. I don't even
Yep.
know if you knew that, and you were probably like my best friend back then. It is just because of that stigma, like especially with World of Warcraft, where there was a whole ass South Park episode making fun of it. Like it ain't even like a stigma. Like they put a whole ass fucking like animation to that shit, you know. So
Right.
I didn't like talking about it like at all. So I just didn't, you know. I kept it to myself. But
And
sticking up for yourself once you actually like learn how to be confident in everything, it feels so much better. Like I can't tell you the amount of times like I've clowned on myself for playing World of Warcraft, and it's only done good in establishing myself later, you know?
absolutely. And that's another part. That's another part of establishing yourself, owning, pretty much owning what you do, because ultimately, like if you can't laugh at yourself, then you gonna fail a lot because as much as we all have pride and whatnot, like don't think of yourself so high to the point where you can't even enjoy yourself for real.
Yeah, yeah, definitely establishing yourself is establishing who you are. If there's a part of you that's trying so desperately not to be made fun of, all this shit, then you're not confident with who you are at all. Then you haven't even established who you are to yourself at that point, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like that's why I tell people, man. Like even though, like I think the biggest problem nowadays is people literally try to force you to support them in whatever they do. Like I like regardless
Just
of
need your
like whatever
support
you
right
have.
now. I'm shooting up heroin in the bathroom. Make sure everyone prays for me.
right, right, right. Nah, don't support that. Nah, don't support that. but don't support that. But if you do things like you get earrings or you want to dress a certain way that may be looked at as weird or whatnot, like ultimately, if it's you, you're gonna stand on it regardless. Instead of trying to force people to support you, I think the people who try to force others to support them are really insecure about who they are in the first place.
Yeah,
Because the people I know, just and who are confident, they don't do nothing. They don't do stuff like that.
yeah, yeah, and it's definitely actually it goes back to something we've talked about a lot. Is it goes back to people seeking validation. If you're seeking validation, you're not confident in yourself, and you haven't established yourself to yourself. Like that is a very, very important step. Is if you can't be like confident in who you are and confident in knowing who you are, then you're gonna run into a lot of problems down the road. Like a lot.
Definitely, definitely, and even people like I don't even like Lizzo. I'm pretty sure we talked about her plenty of times.
Oh
But
yeah,
the fact that you would, but the fact that she literally saying, "Oh, I'm working out to get my ideal body type, not your ideal body type." I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Who the fuck said they want you to look like somebody else? They just saying actually be healthy, and you over here encouraging kids saying if you want to eat McDonald's and Burger King all day, then go ahead. I'm like, hell no, you encouraging these kids to have fucking cholesterol issues.
Yeah.
Like you ain't helping nobody. What you talking about?
Yeah, there is definitely a point where I feel like we need to draw the line. Like, 'cause I'm all for body positivity, right? What I'm not for is people hiding behind body positivity to, you know, justify being lazy and, like, not bettering themselves. Like, a skinny person looks in the mirror, right? And, like, maybe they want to
Uh-huh.
go to the gym, or hell, maybe even they just want to put on weight because they feel like they're too skinny, you know? That's all good and all. Do that, you know? Do what you want. I guarantee, like, you can be fine with who you like are as a person. You can be fine with how you look. You don't have to go anywhere, like anything. I'm down for the body positivity, but there is a very fair argument to be made that I promise you there isn't a single person looking in the mirror 300 to fucking 600 pounds going, yeah, I'm a sexy bitch. Like, you're just not. You're just not, dude. And if you're sitting there being like, I'm okay with the way I am, your very statement gave it away. You said you're okay, meaning you are fine not putting in the work. Nobody,
Yeah.
nobody looks at their body at that state and they're like, this is good. This is exactly what I want. They'll look at it and they'll be like, well, I wish things could be different, but then not be willing to make the sacrifices, so they convince themselves in their head to, just accept it, That
Oh yeah.
that's where I draw the line on body positivity. It's right there, where you're sitting there using it as a reason to not better yourself. You should always be bettering yourself no matter what. And it can be tiring. Don't get me wrong. But if you give up, then you're doing yourself a disservice.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that even goes with like establishing, so like just like you said, how you present yourself. If you can't establish yourself in your own mind, you're not gonna get respect from others because if like you said, if you show you don't care about yourself, what makes you think other people gonna care about you? Like I swear, I don't even mean to go back on this topic, but it was a dude from my 600-pound life. He couldn't even get up out of bed on his own. He had to scoot out. And this man literally said, "I'm gonna
At a
eat till
high
I
level.
die." I'm a yeah, high level of appetite.
Oh dear God.
I'm back on it again.
Dude, I already heard you starting at the beginning. What do you mean? I heard the first thing. I don't know if you heard me. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, under my breath. I was like, here we go. He's going.
Man, but ultimately though, like what it is though, like if you don't like if you showing that you just give up on yourself, like then nobody is actually gonna give you that respect. Because as much as people who try to say, oh, we should give you respect regardless, like there's a thing with common decency, but respect is earned. I'm not gonna give you respect just because you're a woman or your race or because of your sexuality. You have to earn that. So ultimately, if you don't establish yourself in a way that people will respect you, then it's not worth it. It's a waste of time.
Yeah, and I actually think that goes back to something that we've discussed talking about before. And there is also like levels of respect. When we say like respect is earned, we don't mean to walk up to someone and just right off the fucking bat look at someone who's fucking like 300 pounds and be like, hey, what's up, fat fuck? Like, don't do that. Don't do that, all right?
Right. Don't
There's
do that.
different levels of respect. There's a certain level of respect you should give everyone off the bat. It doesn't mean you need to fucking like exalt them, right? They don't need to fucking like, you know, how do I explain this? You don't need to right off the bat treat them like Winston Churchill. Like,
Right.
but that just is what it is. There's different levels that you can go up in, and establishing yourself will help you increase those levels of respect. And I actually hate to do this right in the middle of the podcast, but I will be right back.
All right.
Like literally like 2 minutes. We're gonna be quick.
Okay.
Alrighty, I am back.
Yep.
Alright, so we were on the levels of respect, right?
Yep.
Alright. But yeah.
Hey, that,
What was it?
right. I was like, cause like what you're saying is like you definitely just, of course, you're not just gonna, you don't want to just go straight up to somebody and just like disrespect them, of course, but you can't just put them on a pedestal. Like when you
Yeah.
first meet them, you actually have to build to that.
Yeah, actually. And you can't expect people to sit there. The whole mentality that honestly I feel like is kind of run rampant in our generation of the quotes, do you know who I am? You don't know who I am. And it's like, well, no fucking shit. Like, you have to establish yourself before anybody knows who you are, right? Like, even if you've
Right.
heard stories, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I hate talking about it because it kind of sounds a bit narcissistic, but there have been a lot of people in my life who have known my name before I met them. That doesn't mean they know who I am. That means they know the stories. They've heard the fables, so to speak. You know, like you can't expect anyone to respect you off bat. You just can't. There is a certain level of respect. Like you don't disrespect people, but don't like fucking don't revere them. You know, that's just not what's gonna happen. Don't expect people to do that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because that's I actually hate when people say that, or they'll say something like, "Oh, you don't know what? Ask Carando about me. My name is good." I'm like, I don't
No,
give a
fucking
damn.
prove it to me, bitch. Like, if you
Right,
proved it to them, why can't you do it to me? Are you afraid that you lost it? Like, what do you
right.
mean?
Like certain people will literally be so like egotistical and think that, oh, just because I establish myself in this way with other people, that somehow everyone's gonna be like, "Hey Rob, did you hear about dude across the street? He is a crazy motherfucker. Don't mess with him." Like, no, it don't work like that.
Right.
like
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 if you're at a certain level of crazy, yeah, I'm sure there's a fucking. It ain't a don't mess with him, and then like someone goes over there, gives him a handshake. It's a literally like, no, just stay the fuck away from him. Like, just leave him in the corner. Like, to fucking act like he ain't there. Like, and once you're at that point, you're not coming back from it. You're just not. You are the fucking sex offender on the street. You just aren't.
right. And you now, if you get the Heisenberg from Breaking Bad level of respect, then it may vary. I wouldn't say I would do everything that that man would do, but like teach his own.
Well, there's
But
a certain degree of your name being known for like the things you have done. And that goes back to what I say, like they only hear the stories, you know. Once actually, I'm not gonna lie, like I said, I've been in that position. That almost makes it worse because at that point now you got expectations to live up to. Like people hear these things about you and shit like that, and now it's almost like they've set the bar. Like fucking going under that bar isn't even an option. Like you're just not allowed to disappoint now, you know?
oh yeah, absolutely. Because when you, that's why I always tell people like, if you're gonna establish yourself, I would say unless they do something like establish yourself and leave with the best part of yourself rather than the worst. Because as soon as you establish yourself with the worst part, then that'll have problems constantly coming back to you, and eventually it gets tiring and exhausting having to keep that up all the time.
There's also another point to be made, especially when it comes to talking about the worst in you, is there's so many people that lean in different directions in this. Some people will sit there and do their best to make sure you only ever see the best in them. Other people, for some reason, make it their mission that you see the worst, like right off the bat. it just it don't do either of that, you know? Just be yourself and people will naturally find out your bad side and people will naturally find out your good side. You know, you don't have to walk up like I went to a wedding down in Florida, right? And we all
Mm-hmm.
met this chick. She was a cool person to be friends with and everything, right? Like actually she's like one of the only people that's ever matched my not give a fuck energy before. And you've heard the stories about my not give a fuck energy. It's kind of hard to match that.
Right.
But like she would just fucking lead with some of the worst fucking parts of herself. Like, it did not take me but a day to understand that this bitch was ready to fuck all of us. Like, like I
That
said,
is
she was cool enough, right? I could be friends with her any fucking day, but like, wow.
that is insane, bro.
Wowzers.
That is that is insane, bro. And even like going into like the negative part of establishing yourself. I don't think people realize that you gotta like when you do certain things a certain way, everyone's not gonna react the same because we're not all the same. Like I swear, I remember this one dude. He literally walked up to this guy and said, "Hey, I hope you don't think I'm a bitch." And dude was like, "What?" like, like nobody even said that. Like,
You better not think I'm a bitch. I'll have you know I'm not. I'm not a bitch. Just fucking what the fuck? Shit, they cool, good shit, man. Good to know you're not a bitch.
right,
Congratulations.
right. Get that man a medal right now.
Someone walk up to me. I hope you don't think I'm a bitch. I'm like, I didn't, but now I'm debating.
Right,
Now it's a possibility.
right. Because people who aren't don't have to say that I barely have to say that I'm not.
Well, fuck, even, like, there's no point in if you're not a bitch saying, like, you're not a bitch. But at this point, you've kind of, like, just given off, bitch vibes, because you're like, well, I hope you don't think I'm a bitch. Now you care what this person thinks, and that's kind of bitch energy, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. You right, Rob. You right.
Like, I think you should, like, we were cool, but I don't know, man. Now you're kind of giving me bitch energy now. Like, sorry, I'm just
Oh,
telling you how it is.
for real, for real. And overall, like also like my final thoughts on this topic is definitely like when it comes to establishing yourself, make sure you set clear, make sure you set clear and firm boundaries with people ultimately, even if they may not like it, no matter who it is. Eventually, like once they see you're not backing down, like they will grow to respect you. And if they don't, get away from those people because if they don't respect your boundaries, then those aren't the kind of people that you need to be around. Just stand firm on what you believe in, be confident, and continue to prosper.
Yeah, it's understand that, like, not you don't have to be liked by everyone. Yes, it does give, like, a huge fucking dopamine hit when you're the fucking hot shit and everyone, like, likes you and all that stuff. It's cool and all. But it's not doing you any favors. Making everyone like you isn't helping you. In fact,
Yep.
it's kind of doing you a disservice. You want people you genuinely enjoy around you. If you spend your whole life like a chameleon, shaping into every single person's views of what they want you to be, you're never going to know who you truly are. They're never going to know who you truly are. You know? And that's just not good. You're going to live in a constant state of disassociation if you end up doing that. You're never going to feel like yourself.
Yep, you damn right. Like that was beautiful.
So, I don't know if we actually have a topic for next week at the moment, do we?
Matter of fact, I believe we do levels of respect.
Levels of respect. Let's do it. We did
Yep.
cover a good chunk of levels of respect in this one, but there is probably a lot more that we can touch on with that. That one should be a fun one.
Definitely, man. I cannot wait.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the stream now. We're almost hitting that 40-minute marker that we usually try and shoot for. Like I said, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. with me, Quan, will always be here. Apparently talking about fat people. I'm sorry if you're one of those people who are 300 pounds, but and you're just okay with it like that. I guess we're not okay with it.
Yeah,
I'm
ever.
sorry. I guess we're the people that's not gonna like it. We're gonna do you a favor. We're gonna start making you establish yourself right now. We don't like you. Go find yourself some friends.
Right. See, even though we do you a favor.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Hell no, man. That is insane.
Oh, dude, we're gonna get canceled by the time we get fucking 10 subscribers.
Oh, bro. It'll be a good 30.
Jesus Christ. All right, so tune in next week, Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Peace.
Catch you later.